I guarded the engineers. They got their work done. And wouldn't you know it, you've got to guard them and get them through the city again. The airstrike takes forever to get in, and it takes out the digital storm, my most valued asset. It's not destroyed though, and I repair it, and it just doesn't work anymore, which is pretty much the standard feature. I just got a warning about staying inside the red zone. Like, what are you gonna do, mate? Just fail me instantly? Okay, so now there's a massive robot, like from Midlands, but you're not allowed to fight it.
I'm giving you command of all our forces.
We've been now given control of everything on the map. The storyline is like, you know what? Actually, no, we're not working together. Humanity is inherently greedy, and we're going to betray you. It was honestly like going on a date, and then, alright, we'll see you later. Nice to know you. Ahoy and welcome back to Terminator Dark Fate Defiance. We are on the road to Galveston, the last stop in our campaign against Legion. I had lots and lots of supplies left over, so I have expanded my army somewhat, added an extra Abrams, an extra Bradley, and a few other things. I want to preface this by saying that this mission was one of the most tedious missions I've ever played in my life, and that was for a few reasons, and they weren't good reasons. The mission optimization is terrible. It runs very, very poorly, and so this episode will be heavily edited just to show you how the mission plays out, how to do it the best way possible. It took me 2 hours to do, and the frame rate is terrible. There are just, I think this mission is just too ambitious. There are too many objectives, too many voice lines, too many enemies. The mission expands and expands and expands, and it just never ends. So in the initial stages, the game runs pretty well. From the outset, I could already tell that this was going to be a bit of a slog. I could tell that the frame rate just wasn't up to scratch. I honestly think that this mission should have been split into 2 separate parts, where you finish the first half of the mission, you have some voice lines, it loads up the next stage of the mission. You haven't got any reinforcements or whatever, you don't get a chance to resupply. But it would have made this mission run much better. Another issue I had was the so-called digital storm that we spent so much effort getting from the integrators in the Midlands was effectively broken. You'll see in a moment that when we finally activated it, we put Kondo inside of it, one of our hero hackers, and he was supposed to be able to take over Legion units. Throughout the course of this mission, I managed to take over one solitary homunculi by himself after I'd killed most of the squad, and we got to keep him for 45 seconds. Anyway, I think that this is leaves the game with a real sour note. I mean, I have a pretty good PC, like, you know, better than the average bloke. I have no issues running any new games at high or ultra, and my computer really slugged through. Alright, so we're just about to activate Digital Storm, creeping our way up the map. It's activated. We got control of this guy. He's got a heat weapon. I was thinking, wow, that's amazing. It has a range which is not indicated, and it has a time limit of 1 minute. So after the minute ends, this guy's going to go back to the other team. And I really enjoyed this game. Like, this game was right up my alley. I played the game for an entire week. I played a butt ton of skirmish games, getting to know all the units and tactics that I could explore while playing the campaign. I got right into it. I understood the mechanics and what the developers were trying to achieve with the difficulty here and the preservation of force and how they actually wanted you to play like a commander. But yeah, so for me this would have been the game of the year in terms of strategy games. So far released in 2024. We've got a big year for strategy games this year. And so this mission has actually knocked it down a few pegs in terms of any rating I would have given the game. I would have given it a strong 8 out of 10, but the lack of optimization and like I said, I think they were just too ambitious. And as we get further into the mission, there are just voice lines after voice lines after voice lines, and different objectives keep popping up. Legion units are just spawning everywhere. I did play on hard difficulty, which increases the amount of Legion units, so perhaps if you play it on medium or story, it would be a much better experience. At this stage, while we still have the fledgling army coming onto the field, it wasn't too bad. I don't want to take away from the episode too much. But basically here I'm setting up an operating base. I have an extra Abrams, which I fitted a brand new railgun to. We stole that from the integrated base. And I also have 2 extra Bradleys fitted with a 20mm Vulcan, and their job is to protect our supply convoys. At the moment we have our infantry heading up into the next zone of control. And at this stage in an urban battlefield like this, my tactics usually would be to building, clear each building, and bound up. And we will bring the vehicles up as they are required. So our objective is to find a way to get the main force in. We are not allowed to get outside of the zone of control. So we've got a narrow corridor here, and I'm worried about Legion units coming in from the north and flanking me. The restriction was like a nail in the coffin for me as well, in terms of every mission has had this freedom to explore and play it how you wish. This mission's like, nope, you must stay inside this zone so that I can spawn lots of enemies at you from the flanks. And I wasn't going to have any of that, so we're going to set up quite a dense minefield here to protect my flanks as we advance up towards our objective. I've got 2 teams of infantry set up here. My plan is to guard this approach here. We already have mines and anti-personnel mines down. We'll put a javelin here to guard the flank of our convoy as we make our way to the east. We have contact here with a spider. Nothing to worry about at this stage in the game. All of our squads are the best of the best. All of our named squads have survived the campaigns thus far. Alright, we have 1 tank, which is Calderon or Mother's, and we fitted an active protection system to her Abrams.
Alright, I'm expanding your permitted operation zone to let you bypass it, but otherwise, you stick to the plan.
Alright, this is where it just gets annoying. Bringing up the new railgun tank to try and deal with this Legion tank. I have not used the railgun yet. We'll see how that goes in a moment. It's brilliant. And I'm glad I didn't keep the Sherman, because the Sherman was very, very squishy.
Engineers on the way.
Having on the Abrams gives it a lot more utility. Got our engineers setting up a dense minefield to cover the flanks. There are various spawn points all over the map for Legion as well, like this building here. Trying to keep my methodical playstyle in effect. We've got ourselves a Paladin, M109, self-propelled howitzer. The Digital Storm is sitting there wasted. And I also kept 1 of the integrator tanks, and I'm using that as a defensive tank as well. It won't be pushing anywhere. I'm satisfied that we are secure, so I'm pushing up to the next building across the road. And once those infantry are set, we will move the convoy up with the next team of infantry. Lead the way with the Rangers all the time. Their voice line giving you a clue on how to use them.
We gotta seal it up. Stop Wirehead reinforcements coming through.
Don't have enough demolition charges. I'll request assistance from Actual when his forces arrive.
And the game also made it feel like there was a lot of choice, but we've been railroaded into helping the Founders. And so thus far, me really helping the other factions hasn't really affected the story so much. We helped the Founders, we helped the Integrators until we eliminated them. We helped the movement, we destroyed the cartel, and I haven't really seen any effect from that, besides the short-term gains of giving us new weapons and supplies and access to different things like that. So that did leave me a little bit sad. The early game played a lot like a choose-your-own-adventure story, which I was very fond of as a kid. As you can see, I've got no shortage of supplies in this mission, so I'm not worried about ammunition. The mines can go everywhere. From the gameplay I've seen of this game, not many people used mines, but they're one of my favorite tools. Area denial is your friend. So we've made it up to the first entrance. I was really worried about lots of enemies spawning at this point, so I've got my whole battle group ready to push past. We're going to set up a defensive line as we bring past the fragile units in our convoy. Very minor contact, very minor losses in the early stages of this mission. And it made me wonder at the time, why is it running like shit? But here we go. We can't go near that crater there right next to us to the east, so that's why we have to push past this entrance here. I do plant down a C4 as well to make sure it's secure. But at this stage, it's just really there as a jump scare. So the fragile units and all of the infantry have moved past. We've kept some armor behind here just to guard our rear, and we're bringing up the last of our defense teams as well from the main road. So we've abandoned that position that we started in. Got a nice armor block there trying to protect our fragile vehicles. I have noticed that shots that miss hit vehicles behind, so you want to have a nice solid block of vehicles if you're going to travel that way, with your armor at the front. We've made it to the objective, but there was literally nothing here except one unit of Legion forces and an APC, so we took them out. And this is where it gets annoying.
Until we get there. Yes, sir. One thing, though. What now, Church? We found gates leading into the underground facility. Permission to destroy them, sir. To prevent Legion reinforcements using them. Permission denied, Church. You use demolition charges on those gates, and we might damage the factory facilities there. I want that place taken intact. I thought our goal was to destroy the factory, sir.
If you blow up the reinforcement holes, how will we spawn more units to annoy you while you travel back the way you came? Mother's APS system is protecting her from those rockets, but it wasn't enough to protect the gun. So she's toothless and we evac her out of the way. Bringing the last of the force that was defending that hole, we're going to set up, resupply all of our units because we've been fighting for a little while. We have depleted a lot of our smoke.
Ready to take control of the entry point, sir.
Good work. IT command, you know what to do now.
Yes, sir. Moving out now.
Okay, we're setting up our minefield. I like watching my own back. Throwing some smoke out to keep those engineers alive. And this is where it starts to get stuttery.
Like Oklahoma again, huh?
Exactly.
Oh god, not like
We've got a
Oklahoma.
chance here to connect into the factory's data stream.
Can we hack in and control their systems again?
No. Legion updated its cyber defenses after Oklahoma. We still have 2 mobile data vehicles, though. If we can get them beside the gates, we can gather data on factory location. Need to take good care of them, though. Actual needs them.
I have seen a lot of people say that this was a save scum simulator, but I've really enjoyed this game. I didn't have any of those issues. There were a few times I had to reload because scripts didn't play, and this mission was a huge offender in that particular instance. You'll notice that Digital Storm hasn't worked since it worked that first time. And I noticed later that if I took the driver out and put a new driver in, it would start the timer again, but it never actually took over another unit. Alright, we're setting up our convoy because got to keep these super fragile units alive while we try and get them to the hole that we just abandoned before. So my standard doctrine is to move up slowly, lots of smoke, artillery support, and then bring through the combat infantry, set up a cordon, and then bring in the high-value vehicles. Lots of smoke. Don't be shy to use it.
Strike group moving. On the move, sir. Yes, sir. On the move, sir.
Once we're set up here, it's a matter of spending 5 minutes defending from Legion attacks
We're in range of the gate.
while these vehicles sit in the open. In this particular case, I didn't send enough help. I was getting a little bit too ambitious.
Time to move. Rockets are ready. Confirmed. What? Rockets are ready. Responding.
Making sure everyone's in a building. It's the best way to ensure their lives.
Moving there.
What you need? Striker awaiting orders, sir.
And we have 5 minutes to wait.
Striker awaiting orders, sir. Rockets are ready. Moving. Rockets are ready.
And there's a lot of that in this mission. Escort something here. Wait for 5 minutes. Keep it alive. And I can see why you would have to save scum this mission a lot. I got extremely lucky. This was a near kill. I put down my minefield. And the lessons of Oklahoma, where you shouldn't stand things in a minefield after you've set it, are about to come back to bite me. The timer means that I just really have to wait. I can't do anything productive. Engineers start exploding in their own minefields. I conveniently park a Bradley in an anti-tank minefield. All of my infantry are about to get splattered by that drone attack. That was one of the first full squad losses we've taken. That engineer squad completely obliterated. And this is just chaos. Bradley exploding in a minefield. It's on fire. Sniper team can't do much against the tank. All of our infantry are useless at that range.
We're going.
And so I didn't really know what to do. And then I realized artillery is pretty good against tanks if it hits the roof. And then I thought I got HIMARS here with unlimited supplies basically. So we'll use those.
Lieutenant, we need to connect to the data streams at another gate to get the codes off their internal security system.
Hear that, Church? Find another gate and get a data vehicle there to connect to it. Found another gate. Clear and secure the area so we can bring in the data truck.
And that becomes the theme. As my HIMARS arrive, we go to the next gate, we download, we wait for 5 minutes, we hope we don't die. But you must not exit the zone. Copious amounts of HIMARS trying to clear out and soften up that attack what we're about to do. But then I realized that they were still attacking the same zone. So we're very lucky I didn't move to that next building.
More enemies sighted.
And I start to get a little bit frustrated at this point, and it's a matter of just selecting my infantry and running to the objective. Paying for that dearly when this drone squad comes out of nowhere and nearly wipes out an entire squad. Fortunately, they were scattered around the road. My artillery's being super helpful, firing at us. More drones coming in. I tried using the drones in skirmish and I found them to be largely useless unless you ambush a squad already engaged. Otherwise they just get seen and they all explode. So we get Big Bob to do some brave things. He's going to run up here and take the shots from this Legion tank, while our less experienced crew try to get that repaired. Trying to take a foothold here in this building. We'll move supplies up. Not too concerned about the strength of Legion here. I spent a good 5 minutes here trying to figure out why the data storm wasn't working. The digital storm.
Okay, we're connected to the data stream. Now trying to disarm the internal security system so my engineers can access the factory.
I'm expanding your area of operations, Church. Clear the area of hostiles.
And it disappoints me to make a video like this where I don't have an optimistic outlook. But I gotta be honest. It just let the game down.
One of the data vehicles has been destroyed.
I mean, I don't know much about game design itself or how easy it would be to optimize a mission like this after the fact. But I highly recommend to the developers that they think about splitting the mission in two to save system resources, because even I'm sure there are a lot of people out there whose PCs probably won't even be able to play this mission to the end.
All fixed.
Not without pulling out all of your remaining hair.
This is go. Moving.
Railgun tank, it seems to have 100% accuracy. It has not missed yet. And as you can see here now, we've got this very narrow area that we have to move up. And if you move up in the wrong section,
Ready to go, sir.
the asshole actual will get angry at you. My Humvee here crossing the line.
Storm is back online.
I'll need to be there to keep on modifying the code as we go on.
This is where I realized that putting the driver in and out would get the timer on Digital Storm.
Is that you?
There? What the hell?
You gotta get me out of here. My God, the things they do to people here. I barely escaped in time. Relax, Blair. We'll get you to safety.
Good to see you again, sir. You remember me? Sergeant Stone. We served together in Colorado.
Colorado. Yes, of course.
I'm totally not a robot.
Stone. Thanks for rescuing me.
We ain't got no space.
This is really anticlimactic too.
It's one of those things. Kill it!
Good work, Mason. That's one I owe you.
Felt good to waste that ass.
So apparently he's dead according to the voice lines, but there he is running off, getting shot at by Legion forces. So there's another break. A total immersion breaker for me.
They're on it. Sir, we're coming under artillery
Then
fire. Permit me to leave the permitted area.
artillery starts attacking the formation,
Enemy artillery.
and you're not allowed to go and fight it.
Just tough it out. Stick to your orders.
Fortunately, my HIMARS outrange anything they can field, and so I just spam HIMARS. If you don't have HIMARS, make sure you bring an artillery unit with your attack force when playing this mission, or your guys will probably get creamed. 12 of those high explosive rockets, making my life much easier in this case.
Striker under fire. Down. What do you need?
I just got a warning about staying inside the red zone. Like, what are you gonna do, mate? Just fail me instantly? Yeah, it just didn't feel fun for me, and
Can we blast them? Rolling.
it was honestly like going on a date, and then, alright, we'll see you later. Nice to know you. There's no satisfaction. Okay, so we've cleared the zone. Now, you're allowed to go and kill the artillery. But at that point, you can see that my tactics have devolved into just spamming units everywhere, which is typical of an RTS. Fire at the annoying artillery that's respawned. Okay, so now you've done that, you have to bring another truck and defend them for 5 minutes. Digital Storm is almost activating, and it does nothing. Okay, so now there's a massive robot, like from Midlands, but you're not allowed to fight it.
This one's fully functioning.
And you're also not allowed to lose too many
Got
units.
nothing on the ground that can scratch it.
Take out that air defense. Let our air support come in and deal with it.
Okay, now we've got a plan.
So now you're allowed to go in there after most of the force is wiped out, and they expect you to sneak around and take out all of the AA turrets without getting wasted by the big guy. I didn't want any of that, so I decided, whoa, I wasn't expecting my Abrams to get that nailed that quickly. So I thought I'd bring the railgun tank, and this is not working well. And you just see the game has dropped to an absolute crawl. It's like the game itself has slowed down, not just the frame rate. Rate of fire, everything. The order input lag is terrible. Backing up the railgun here to get the final shot, hoping just to annihilate this annoying ass robot. And so we didn't worry about the AA. If you don't have the railgun, I don't know how you're going to kill that thing quickly.
Now clear anything else out of the area and get one of my data vehicles in there. That's an order, Church.
I was hoping I could use Digital Storm to stop it.
Rangers here.
But no, that thing didn't work either. Alright, so we're at the final entrance to the base. And wouldn't you know it,
Got us where we're needed.
you need to hold this section for 5 minutes.
We're connected into the data stream. Take a couple of minutes to extract what we need. Better be a fast couple of minutes.
Oh, I misspeak, it's 2 minutes. But there's lots of Legion coming.
Factory security systems disabled.
Get
Yep,
those
so we
engineers in
did
there.
that.
I want everything they can get about that augmented human soldier technology.
Sir, not much time before that large reinforcement wave gets here.
Hear that, Church? Hurry it up.
Sir, if we send in the engineers to collect the tech samples, we'll lose any time we have left to destroy the factory.
I'm prepared to risk that, Church, as long as we get that technology for ourselves.
But with the factory still intact, Legion won't be able to mass produce those new infiltrator units.
We know about them now. We'll find ways to stop them.
But the other survivor groups, sir? What about them? We would need to warn
And
them
then
about
the
existence of
storyline
these
is
things and how
like,
to
you know
stop
what?
them.
Actually, no, we're not working together. Humanity is inherently greedy, and we're going to betray you. For whatever fucking reason, I don't know.
The engineers are collecting the tech samples and the data you wanted from the factory.
After fighting through the city yet again to guard the engineers as they made their way, and waiting 5 more minutes,
I'm giving you command of all our forces in there.
we've been
No
now
pulling out
given
until I've got
control of
everything we went in there
everything
for.
on the map.
Yes, sir.
So our
We'll lay
unit
you down.
control burden has doubled instantly.
We've done it. Data and tech
I
samples
guarded the
collected.
engineers,
We're ready for
they
extraction.
got their work done, and wouldn't you know it, you've got to guard them and get them through the city again. This game is expecting me to hold every single point in the city to safely do this. Or just desperately dash. There isn't a lot of tactical option here. I lose one of the engineering squads, nearly losing the mission. Fortunately, they survive, so I just bum rush them to the escape point. At this point, I've given up any hope of trying to be
What are the orders?
immersed in the tactics and just get through this mission.
Engineers successfully evacuated.
All founders
I'm actually
forces
expecting
time
no
pull
one
out.
to watch this video because of how
Units are
terrible
forming the rear guard.
it's
Reporting
performing.
protect the evac.
And that's totally okay with me. If you are here, press like, please. Alright, now everyone is evacing, but we are not allowed to. So I just went, you know what? Screw it. Run. We just can't take it anymore. We can't keep fighting these goddamn robots. Let's get out of here. The airstrike takes forever to get in, and it takes out the Digital Storm, my most valued asset.
Fragged.
Spotted one.
How terrible. It's not destroyed though, and I repair it, and it just doesn't work anymore, which is pretty much the standard feature. So I hope that they fix that, because it just made 2 missions completely pointless. Like, honestly, pointless.
Rockets are ready. Evac complete. Good work, Church.
Thank you, sir.
There aren't any, son.
Oh, that's
They're
right.
on.
You don't get to leave now. I thought the mission would be over at least, but no.
Fidelis.
Sir, we
Fuck you,
followed all
guy.
your orders. You can't do this to us.
Rockets are ready.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy the mission, and my live commentary of this mission reflected
I
that.
always knew I wouldn't survive.
Fortunately,
the end of
I used 2-channel audio, so I can
Not
just
like this.
delete what I said
Command,
previously
know how we can destroy the factory?
and do
Two
some
entrances next to
post commentary.
you.
This is the
One
first
leads to a
one.
production bay with all the augmented tech samples. The other to the cooling system under the
Oh,
dam.
okay.
Legion
So
needs a lot of
now
water pumped through it to stop the
we have to
factory
get
systems
back
overheating.
to where we
Blowing up the
just
dam
were
was the whole
after
place was water.
running away.
You made a mistake. Doesn't mean you have to die.
The
first.
only difference is now they're going to throw even more units for you to control.
On the move.
We've been given a random assortment of the movement units, and this is because we helped them, no doubt. And I've just given up on tactics. I'm like, as before, fuck it, just run. And I pay for it because we get ambushed twice on the way there, on both sides of the map. The movement forces that I were given were just completely mowed down.
Rockets are
And yeah, it just sucks, man. In the words of Angry Joe,
There.
you done fucked it
Heard
up.
what happened, but yes, sir. Hell with.
Ready to fly.
So we get some Black Hawks, which
Rockets are ready.
seem to be okay, but the game is now running like absolute pus.
Providing aerial support. Got your aerial support?
And the helis are just not really useful. We've got a couple of ATGMs, which is going to get rid of these ground forces in theory.
Still burnt here. Horrible. Enemy sighted.
Hot dropping in some Rangers, which is pretty cool. It does make me regret not buying a Black Hawk earlier in the campaign.
Looks clear from up here.
And so if you were really riding on your coattails in terms of supplies when you get to this point in the campaign, or you don't have many units, you are fucked, to put it plainly. I came into this mission with everything. We got the demo charges to the dam. Someone rocks up in a hovercraft to pick us up from God knows where. And that's the end of the mission. But you do get a cool cinematic of a dam exploding.
The founders say they were born out of the disaster of the Atlanta pullback. Well, hopefully, something better is going to come out of what happened here.
Like
I
a
guess-
resistance.
Galveston pushback. Like
I'm
the
Commander
sound.
Tyrael.
Yeah,
Like and subscribe.
the day we all finally
See you
came
next
together
time.
to show Legion we're not beaten yet.
Have we started something here? Some kind of movement?
The movement are a part of it, but this feels like something bigger. Everyone coming together, working together.
Resisted together.
Right. A resistance. That's what we need to be now.